First thing we need to do is get to work on our chicken. So I've got 6 chicken thighs here. I've got boneless and skinless chicken thighs. This is what's gonna make it really quick. If you wanted to do this with chicken breasts, I would either pound them a little bit thinner or slice them in half just to give them a bit more surface area. That's gonna do a couple things. Make them cook quicker, but it's also gonna give you a little bit more surface area so you can season it a bit better. So onto those chicken thighs, I'm gonna season those up with a little bit of salt. Now, when I buy boneless, skinless chicken thighs, or when anybody buys boneless, skinless chicken thighs, you typically get them in the package and they're kind of rolled up, like how they come when the bone's in them. You wanna unroll them here. That's gonna make them nice and flat. Again, better for surface area, better for quick cooking. Super tasty. Now, onto there, we're gonna season this up with a seasoning called Chinese 5-spice. Now, Chinese 5-spice, spoiler alert, has 5 spices in it. Very tasty. So it's got Szechuan peppercorns, clove, star anise, Chinese cinnamon, and fennel. Now, if you don't have Chinese 5-spice, that's fine. You could just go on here with pepper, or you could use any of those seasonings, just a little pinch, and that'll be beautiful. I'm gonna go on with about a teaspoon and a half of that Chinese 5-spice, right onto there. Perfect, perfect. Get it nice and seasoned. I'm just gonna toss that around a little bit just to make sure we've got that coated with a little bit of that seasoning on both sides. Now, to cook this chicken, I'm gonna do it kind of a 2-way method. We're gonna start it on the stove in a pan to get a nice good sear. Then we're gonna finish it in the oven. This is one of my favorite ways to cook chicken any night of the week, but in particular on a weeknight, because it's super easy and quick. You get a little bit of brown here, pop it in the oven, let that do the work. So I've got a pan here over about medium-high heat, because we want a good hard sear on here. I'm gonna go in with 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. Now, if you don't have toasted sesame oil, go buy it. It is so good. It often comes in a smaller bottle because it does tend to go a little bit off quicker, but it lasts for a good long time in your pantry. Just make sure you keep it in the dark. So I'm gonna go in with about 2 teaspoons of that. Now, it has a lower smoke point than other oils, so I'm also gonna add in about a teaspoon of canola oil or any sort of neutral oil, just to kind of help with that heat point. Get that nice and coated on the bottom. And if you can smell that, you smell that beautiful toasted sesame. It almost smells like bagels, which is a very good thing. So I'm gonna go into there with my chicken and just pop it right on down. Now, we've got the heat going. Turn it up a little bit. You want it nice and hot to get it nice and seared. Hotter than this, not gonna lie. This stove is always giving me guff. It is on ultra high currently, so we're gonna do our thing. So pop that down. And we're just gonna let that sear. Now, you wanna sear that for about 3 to 4 minutes per side, just until it's golden, but you're not necessarily looking to cook it all the way through, because again, we're gonna finish it in the oven. So while that does its thing, I'm gonna go get some ginger, which I keep in the freezer. Yeah, nicely done, everybody. All right. I love keeping my ginger in the freezer. If you don't use it quick enough, just pop it into a zip top bag and store it in the freezer. It'll keep it nice and fresh. Makes it really, really easy to work with. By grating your garlic frozen, I don't even bother with peeling it. Just give it a wash before you pop it in the freezer and you're good to go. Now I'm gonna go in with about, I'm gonna say 2 tablespoons of ginger, but honestly, grate it until you don't wanna grate it anymore. That's usually the rule. When you are grating frozen ginger, it tends to be a little bit fluffier than like raw ginger. So just grate it until you think it looks good. For instance, I'm gonna go with about that. That's looking beautiful. Super fresh, really bright. I'm also gonna go in with 2 cloves of garlic. I love a little bit of garlic. It's gonna cook out in this glaze. It's gonna be really beautiful. Let's pop that on in. Then we're gonna get to work on the actual liquid for the glaze. Now, this is where you go into your pantry or your fridge door, and you get every delicious sauce that you could ever find. Very, very tasty. The first thing I'm gonna reach for is hoisin sauce. As the name says, there's obviously hoisin in here. I want about 1/3 of a cup of hoisin sauce. Now, hoisin sauce is kind of sort of like barbecue sauce. It's salty, it's sweet, it's a little bit tangy, it's really delicious. So as you can see, we're gonna measure very carefully. About 1/3 of a cup, which to be honest is the most annoying measurement in my opinion. Why not half, why not 1/4? I don't know, that's how I wrote it. All right, so we've got that hoisin in there. I'm also gonna go in with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now, hoisin is already salty. This is gonna bump it up a little bit and also give it a bit more umami. Perfect. Then just to cut through that richness, we're gonna go in with a tablespoon of rice vinegar. This is gonna bring a little bit of brightness. If you don't have rice vinegar, you could use wine vinegar, like a white wine vinegar or apple cider, but rice vinegar is really nice. It's a little bit soft, super tasty. Perfect, whoops. Now into there, we're also gonna go in with some sesame seeds, just to give you those little pops of crunch. Seeds are something I'm trying to get more of in my diet. Really good fiber, good magnesium, good all that stuff, so they taste good. That's also a good thing. Give that a little bit of a stir to combine. And that is looking beautiful. It's thick, it's sticky. That, honestly, on a bowl of anything I would eat, but we're gonna put this on that chicken. So at this point, I'd probably sear this a little bit longer, but we're gonna take that chicken, you'd flip it over, let it sear on the other side, but we're just gonna transfer it on over onto our sheet pan. At home, again, I would cook it a little bit longer and I'd flip it and sear the other side, but if you don't have time for that, honestly, this will work too. And since this is going in the oven, don't worry, we're allowed to do it on this same sheet pan, so you're good to go. Then we're gonna pour that beautiful glaze all over top, and that is just gonna melt down and give you like a sticky coating. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful. Those little pops of seeds too, really, really tasty. Perfect. Now that needs to go into a 375-degree oven for just about 12 to 15 minutes, just until that chicken is cooked through. So while that does its thing, let's get to work on that pickly veg. I love a pickle. When I was a kid and we used to go to the grocery store, you know how sometimes they give you like a free cookie at the bakery? I didn't want the free cookie. My mom would take me to the pickle aisle and I would eat a whole jar of pickles sitting in the cart, and my mom would buy an empty jar of pickles. So thanks, Mom. Very, very good. All right, but super simple to make a really quick pickle. This is kind of almost more like a salad, but a little bit stronger, and you can leave it in your fridge. So again, great for lunch tomorrow. So into my bowl, I'm gonna go in with 3 tablespoons of that rice wine vinegar. If you don't have it, again, you could definitely do apple cider or any sort of light colored vinegar. Then into there, we're gonna go in with a tablespoon of honey. That's gonna balance this out, make it really nice and sweet. If it comes out. Every thing of honey at my house is solid. I don't know why. If anybody knows, let me know. Spreadable honey. All right, that's looking beautiful. Now into there, we're gonna go in with a little bit of a divisive ingredient. We're talking fish sauce. Now, if you've never had fish sauce, it's funky. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. It's really tasty though, and you're not really gonna notice it, but it does bring everything together. So I'm gonna go in with about 2 teaspoons of that fish sauce. Then to season that up, we're gonna go in with a teaspoon of some soy sauce. That's gonna be the salt in this recipe. Then we're gonna go in, just to bring that kind of toasty sesame flavor, just about a teaspoon of that toasted sesame oil in there as well. Beautiful. Now, a few more of those toasted sesame seeds are going in, just again for a little bit of crunch. Beautiful, beautiful. This is why I call this a pickle. There's not a lot of oil in here, so it is very, very vinegary, but it's gonna be beautiful. So, give that a whisk. Then I've got my veg. Any sort of crunchy veg works here. You could do peppers, you could do whatever you've got, but I love a mixture of carrots, which I've cut into ribbons. The way you do that is you get your vegetable peeler and you just kind of keep peeling it. You peel off the outside and then you just keep going. You get these beautiful long ribbons. Super simple, super easy. If you got a kid handy, get them to do this. That's a great thing to do. That was always my thing. I was like, Mom, how can I help in the kitchen? My mom hates cooking. Easy breezy. All right, so that's the carrot. I'm also gonna go in with a little bit of cucumber. So I love, again, a cucumber, super pickled. It pickles up really, really quickly. So we're just gonna thinly slice that. The thinner you slice it, the more of that pickly flavor you're gonna get into there. You could cut it into a nice julienne if you're feeling fancy. I'm just doing some thin slices. Perfect. Pop those on in as well. And then I love a green onion. When I first met my husband, Aaron, he didn't like green onions, and I said to him, we're gonna change that. So now, luckily, he likes a green onion, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit of green onion. Again, thinly sliced. Perfect, perfect. Greens and whites, they have a little bit of a different flavor. So go in there. Then we're gonna give this a little bit of a toss to combine. We've got a clean pair of tongs here. Now at this point, you can set this aside and let it marinate and pickle lightly, or you can just serve it right away. If you have a little jar of peanuts hanging out in your pantry, pop those peanuts in here, that would be beautiful. We're gonna go in with that beautiful pickle into our serving bowl. We've got that cucumber, we've got all that deliciousness. And over here I've got some steamed buns as well. You can get those in the freezer section at your grocery store. If you don't have those though, this is great on like a little wrap or a tortilla, super tasty. Now let's check on our chicken. Oh, it looks and smells really good. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. Super tasty. I'm just gonna pop that chicken right on over. Now, if you want, you can serve it like this whole, or you can give your chicken a little bit of a slice. We're gonna do this. Look at these oven mitts doing their work. Perfect. Serve it up with a little bit of sriracha, but you wanna build one of these buns. You get them, they're kind of like a clamshell. You open it up, a little bit of chicken right on the inside, a little bit of that pickled veg right on the top. maybe some sriracha on there, but I think this might have someone's name on it, and I think his name is Corey Dines. Corey Dines, one of our camera operators. Come on over, my dude. He loves it. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.